Hey, all right. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our obsession with not just coffee, but different ways to make coffee. So generally, we've had an espresso machine for the last, I don't know, 10 years, and that's what we drink for the most part. Lattes, you can make Americanos with espresso, all the same things that you can get at, Starbucks or any local coffee shop. And we love having that. It makes amazing coffee. And actually, espresso is less caffeinated. So for me, that's good because it keeps me from getting jittery or anything like that, but I get to still enjoy the amazing flavor. And it usually is a very strong flavor, but it tends to also be less acidic, so it's a little gentler on the stomach. But when we're talking about the different options of making coffee, we have things like drip, which is what most of us grew up familiar with. That's what all Americans had in their home for the most part. But this is growing in popularity. It's called a Chemex, and a lot of people have these in their homes. They're really inexpensive. Another really inexpensive way to make coffee that a lot of people love is the French press, and it kind of makes a similar brew. If I was going to compare it to a French press, the course of the grind of the coffee is similar to a French press. And then it's not quite as dark, I don't think. And of course, with the French press, it varies depending on how long you let it set, how much coffee you put in, and all of that. So it's kind of like a cross between a French press and drip coffee. So the way that you make it is pretty straightforward, and this looks real cute, but it's a very simple machine. You have a cone shaped on the top, and then it empties into the basin below. And it's got this this will keep you from burning your hands if you're going to pick it up and pour it. But it's hand blown. They're like $30. I think they're very affordable. But Drew recently gave me this as a present, and he also got me this reusable filter. So you can use, they make special filters that fit the paper ones specifically in here, but this is nice because you can reuse it, just rinse it out, and a little less waste, which is nice. Okay, so that's it. All right, we got to keep this in here. This is your filter. Now, depending on how many people you're going to make coffee for, you can, in this size, probably make about 3 tops cups of coffee. If I usually put in a scoop per person, or per cup, 1.5 really. So I'm just gonna do 2. No, I'm just gonna use what I've got here. So that's 3 scoops. And this is all stuff that you can adjust if you prefer darker coffee or stronger coffee. You can add more of the grounds. You can also adjust the coarseness of the grind that the coffee bean that you're making. We always recommend that you don't buy pre-ground coffee. Invest in a good grinder, and you'll just experience more of the flavor that the coffee has to offer. It will go bad pretty fast. Actually, it starts going bad as soon as it's roasted. Not bad, but stale, I guess is the best word. Losing its flavor. So the more recent that you can have it roasted, and then the more recent that you can have it ground. So I literally just ground this less than 3 minutes ago. And now I'm going to pour this over it. And we want to just get the first thing we want to do is just get these grinds wet. So that's enough. And we're going to let that sit for about 30 seconds until it sort of expands and absorbs that moisture. And we're just like prepping the grinds to actually, I don't know, strain right. I'm not really sure exactly what the point is.
Blooming, right?
Blooming the coffee. So now I'm going to just fill this up almost to the top of that in a circular motion, and as slowly as I can. In fact, that little flotation is not something you want. So you want to just do it real slowly. And they actually make specific pots for you to get a really nice, it has like a really long spout on it. We don't have that yet, maybe in the future. Probably in the future, knowing Drew. But that will make the pour over just work a little bit nicer, more smooth drip. And we just wait, let it pour through. Now, if you were in a coffee shop or something, they would be far more serious about this than I am. I'm much more of an eyeballer. They would be measuring, weighing it out, using a scale, all of that. If you're in a good coffee shop, it just depends, of course. But some of the fancier places have a scale. They put the Chemex on the scale. Everything has to come to the right weight, which just ensures quality. It means that you're going to get the same cup deliciousness every single time that you brew, but we just haven't gotten that far. So far, we haven't had a bad cup of coffee out of here, though. So yeah, it's really that simple. So the water, I'll tell you, we actually originally boiled it in a different teapot and then poured it into this is just a cast iron tea kettle that we have. And that's actually traditional to do with tea too. You don't want the temperature of the water to be boiling. So it boiled in the tea kettle, and then we put it into this little teapot, and that absorbed a lot of that heat, just taking it down a step in heat so that it's not scalding the coffee or burning it or anything like that. Plus, you know, drinkability wise, you don't want it to be that hot. And so by the time it goes through this device, the Chemex and the teapot that we transferred it to, it's basically the exact right temperature for drinking. Now, if you like your coffee super hot, I would encourage you to heat up your coffee mug. And I try to do this by putting hot water in my coffee cup, or you know, for whatever coffee I'm drinking, if I want it to be hot. It helps retain that heat for longer. That's a pro tip that you maybe didn't know. And of course, I'm using one of our Hope by the Drop mugs, which we love so much. And that is pretty much exactly 8 ounces of coffee. This cup will hold about 16 cups or 16 ounces. And so we're at almost a little over halfway. And if you like your coffee black, you'll love this coffee. If you like your coffee with any kind of milk, then you can add that just as you would with any kind of drip or otherwise. But it's delicious, and you get the full flavor of whatever bean that you're using. And we highly encourage you to look for a fairly sourced bean from a farmer that maybe you can track down, and also look again for a recent roast. I'll taste it for you. This is fun, right? Delicious. It's nice and dark. Very yummy. All right. Have a great day.